Welcome on in, everyone, to a different kind of episode to Scholarly Sidetracks. Normally, we bring on brand new people every single time and we get their fresh new perspective. But this time, we're doing kind of an update episode or a what's new with you type thing. And so you might recognize the name of Olivia Culbert. How are you, Olivia?
I am stressed, but okay. We're
Why are
getting
you
through it.
stressed? Where are you right now? What's your gig?
Ooh. Well, I'm stressed because I'm applying to grad schools abroad, specifically because of all the defunding that is happening with research and the general distrust and dislike of science in general in the zeitgeist at the moment. So, gotta get out of here.
And for anyone who might be coming in not knowing, oh, what's this update? Or for those who might not remember from your first episode, last we heard, I believe the general idea was kind of like a Space Force track was your
Yeah.
avenue, and that's not going to be the avenue anymore.
No. So I've always wanted to do research, and I've always felt that I was kind of behind because I had my associates just in general studies. Then I came here. I only have 3 years to finish this degree, which seems doable, but I feel like I have one less year than everyone else. So getting the ball rolling was hard. So I was using the Space Force as a kind of jumping off platform to get more experience and be like seem more credible on a resume. And now I'm applying to grad school. And this decision was made weeks after our first video. So it's
Yeah, I
really
remember that
funny.
was funny. Like I put out the episode and like immediately she's like, so I actually want to change like everything. It's all different now. Like I thought I was, but lots of things happened real quick.
Yeah. And I think that was the theme in the last one of it's okay to change your mind. It's never too late.
That's the theme of the whole show. You're
It's never
late, you
too late to
don't
change your
know,
mind.
everything is off the rails, there's no perfect, and that's just how we all are.
Yes, exactly. But it is too late, like, to prepare. And that's where I'm at now. I don't know why the motivation, I think it's because it's daunting. And over the summer, I should have put in way more effort into this, into looking into where I'm going to apply. That's all I did is where am I going to apply? Because abroad is a very different kind of beast than it is in the States. So in the States, it's most of the programs are a master's en route to a PhD. So you apply when you're an undergrad. People expect you to be in undergrad and not have a lot of experience. And you'll gain that experience in your first 2 years doing like your master's area. Abroad, most of the programs you need a master's to apply to or to be able to apply. So there's a few that you don't need, but you need to be very competitive. And that has allowed my imposter syndrome to grow immensely, which is okay. We'll push through. There's a lot of like, you just gotta trick everyone into thinking that you're good. You know what I mean? Was that eloquent? I could try again. I could try.
No, it's good about like the imposter syndrome, but I'm curious what you mean by be like highly competitive. If you then can kind of say, oh, we can just kind of fake it. Is it more than about like the work outside of school, or more like if you're going into grad school for, let's say, research, you're trying to show how
Mhm.
much you're actively going towards, oh, I'm already doing this kind of research, or I have these kinds
Yeah.
of interests, and I know these people, blah, blah. Not so much, I got a C plus in quantum two or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of both. So, because the programs abroad are very research focused, like most of them, you get paid immediately to do research, which is really nice. They want someone who's done research. And I went to it's not necessarily a workshop, it was kind of like a grad application overview last week with our time step program at the U of A. And they were emphasizing you need at least a 3.0. And this was more for United States. And if you have a low GPA, that's fine. You can highlight your research experiences. And I only have one. So I was like, oh, I am not a good candidate. Maybe I should switch to applying to master's programs. Maybe apply to the PhD programs that I have, and then just mass apply to master's programs. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But talking to friends is a great way to alleviate your imposter syndrome, because Chase McMahon, who was on the last season of this show, he talked to me and he was like, well, TimeStep has an invested interest in putting students into industry. So they might subconsciously try to scare you into applying to PhD. I don't know the logic there, to be honest, and it might not be true, but it's a good feeling of, if there's a hater, then I can spite them.
I have an
um,
enemy now.
yeah, I have an enemy now. So Chase said that the U of A is a special university because most undergrads in the United States do not get research experience or get very minimal research experience. And here, you can get research experience as a freshman. You're just inundated with like opportunities. So even having one research experience with a paper that's in progress, that's not going to be published by the time I apply, but having a paper in progress is really good, where I'll be like third or fourth author, which is really good, is amazing. And on the flip side, you'll have friends like the other Chase, love other Chase, Chase Cooper, who has a paper published like a few months ago, and he's first author on that paper. And you're like, that's amazing for you. I'm so happy for you. And then you feel bad about yourself.
I hope I don't have to apply against him anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're completely different fields, so that's good. um, yeah. So the unique thing with applying abroad is most PhD programs, you need a supervisor to be like, I want to work with you. And then you apply. So you have to cold email professors being like, this is the research I'm doing. I think I would contribute well to your research. I'm interested in blah, blah, blah. So that workshop was still helpful in the way of like, this is an argumentative paper. You're trying to prove yourself with facts and points of why you would be a useful tool in the machine cog of academia research. So that was helpful, but also not, because I feel like I'm not a strong candidate. So we'll figure it out. I was talking to someone yesterday about, I have this ideology with applying to jobs of, if you have not all of the qualities that they're looking for, you still need to apply, even though you feel like you're not qualified by their standards. Those are just arbitrary. Those don't really matter. So if you like put your best face forward and prove yourself, even if you don't meet the specifications, you'll still get the job. So I need to apply that mentality to applying to grad school.
And do you know, because one thing that kind of stood out to me, like when you mentioned how a lot of these abroad programs want you to have like a well-rounded research background sort of thing. Is it more like in this case for astronomy, is it that you're doing like different areas of research, that you are just literally working with, let's say, two or three different professors and people? Do you know at all if it's more about the material or more that you just show that you can be in different groups and not be a pain in the ass?
Yeah. I think for, and this is just vibes. I think for the United States, it's more well-rounded, having multiple research experiences, whether that be a summer internship, a quick couple week RU, a workshop, what have you. I think that's more for United States, but because abroad you start automatically with research, getting paid to do that research, and starting out with a team instead of starting out like not knowing who you're going to be with and trying to find your way. I think having one specific research that you're good at is also a way that you can get in. So I work with like the James Webb Space Telescope data, which is amazing. Not a lot of people can say that they can do that. I need to keep on, this is me reminding myself. Not a lot of people have the resources to work with such a great telescope like the JWST. And I researched core collapse supernova, which is whoa. And like, this is amazing. We're working with a huge team of people. This paper is almost unprecedented in the fact that most proposals for the James Webb Space Telescope have one or two supernova targets, and we have 9. So this is going to be a huge paper. It's going to make a huge splash, and like it's going to be good. It's going to be great. Need to keep on reminding myself.
She's not selling it for us. She's selling it for herself.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's a practice that many people need to do, is just basically have a mantra of like, you're enough, you're doing crazy shit. Sorry. And
I'll say shit. In fact, I don't care.
yeah, not a lot of people have this experience in the United States. So
Is this you saying that as all people in the United States, there's very few to JWST, or is it like a U of A specific, like college wise, you also are of few?
what I mean is not a lot of people in the whole country get research experience.
Gotcha.
Someone was telling me that there was an undergrad working with people here complaining that there's only 2 years of data on this specific telescope. And the graduate student that they were working with was like, well, in my undergrad somewhere, I only had like 2 to 3 months worth of data on like a 3-foot telescope. So we don't know how good we have it. That's what I'm realizing.
That is the funny thing with astronomy, and I think a lot of people who aren't in that field will get the idea that, any person who wants to do that kind of research, they're just clocking a telescope up in whatever direction and they go for as long as they need, however months, years, and they get their data. And you realize after like half a second of conversation that the scheduling alone is a bitch. Like with anyone that wants to
Yeah.
be on even JWST to where they have their computer looking at the specific thing they want that telescope to look at. They
Yeah.
might get that one day out of the whole year. Maybe they're a bigger school and they get 11 at a time, whatever it is. But it's not like they get, oh, they had it between 2023 and 2025. They had like 16 days in that time,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah. And the University of Arizona has a monopoly on time on pretty much all the telescopes in Arizona. So we are doing good.
Yes, it
So
helps
yeah.
to be close. You guys make the mirrors. It's a whole thing.
Yes. I'm a College of Science ambassador now, which is really fun. And yesterday there was like a Discover Arizona. It was kind of like an open house, like talk to, we had a little table, whatever. And this high school senior came up and I was talking to him and his mom, and they were just blown away. And I was giving all these talking points, like we have the most time on these telescopes, and this is amazing place. We're like number 4 in the country and number 10 in the world for like research, for like grant funding for research. It's huge. Well-known names. I'm like flabbergasted. And it's really fun talking to prospective students because it helps make remind me of my passion. And seeing the spark and the smile, it's beautiful, and it reminds me of how excited I was when I first applied here. So that's fun.
How excited she was. Not anymore. Like the excitement's gone through all the
Well,
shit.
you're in the front lines. You're trudging through the
Yeah,
mud.
I was gonna say you're trudging. You're doing some. It's work time now. It's
You
no more
forget about
excitement.
it, and you'll have a few experiences of like yesterday I was up in the Mount Lemon, like stargazing with the astronomy club. So in those times you remind it reminds you of why you are doing this and the excitement of why you're doing this.
And without any good segue for some reason, just kind of popped in my head. For anyone randomly kind of going like, well, if the U of A is, this big place that's got all this funding, this blah, 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 why would you just expect to go there for your grad? Like, I obviously know the reason, but maybe people
Yeah.
listening are like, why don't you just stay there? It sounds so great and perfect. Why are you going abroad and doing all this shit? Why not just be at
Yeah.
the U of A?
First of all, I've heard the stat that like this past application round, 500 people applied and they only accepted 20. So that's crazy. And second, they don't want to enroll undergraduates who are here into grad school because they want fresh new ideas. So if you're like I'm working with DJ Sand, Dr. David Sand, and and they don't want me to come here to grad school and just do his work again. Like just continue. They want new fresh ideas. So that's kind of the reasoning behind it.
Which makes enough sense. Like the numbers thing, obviously, like we can't if I could talk about that, but the fresh
And I think that
ideas
might be
thing,
everywhere too, the
yeah,
numbers.
and yeah, the fresh ideas thing, I I have mixed feelings on a little bit, like only just because of how many times I remember specifically when I was at the University of Utah before going back to U of A to really do the astronomy degree. I was in this exploratory class that every science major had to have, and they talked about astronomy for a time, and they brought in a bunch of people, like a panel of 12 guys, maybe one chick. It was very funny. And they're all telling me their story and how they moved like 4 times. Like every single time it was a new part of their education, they moved. And they went wildly all over the place. Like one person started at UC Berkeley or something for their undergrad. Then they went to some random spot in Minnesota for their master's. Then they did their PhD over in Florida. And then they actually went over to Italy for their postdoc number one. Postdoc number two was in Switzerland. And like this whole thing. And it seems a little redundant to me. Like I understand
Hmm.
fresh people, fresh ideas, but at the same time, it seems like a lot of work, a lot of money to move these
Hmm.
people everywhere. And I don't know that, let's say you in this case, are any less useful at the U of A again. Like, yes, being on Dr. Sand's work, that would be maybe redundant. Let's get you somewhere fresh. We have other faculty that are probably doing research. So maybe just get you a new
Hmm.
person, new perspective like that. But yeah, it's kind of like I'm not sure which side of the hill I want to die on. Of it
Yeah.
is nice to get different people because yeah, they do have different backgrounds and stuff, but you had a different background to get to the U of A, and do I think you're really that morphed in your mind that oh, you're just wildcat thinking and this is all you have and you don't have any more to bring? You're like, well, if she was good enough to get into wherever she ends up at, then she should be good enough. It's this whole thing that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
needed to say out loud.
But yeah, and also I kind of don't want to apply to U of A. I might as like a last ditch effort, but the one desert hate.
I
Two,
get that.
two, I don't want to get pigeonholed into doing one thing. So I do have a feeling that if I do apply and get accepted and go to U of A again, that I would just be doing the same thing. And that's a fear of mine, to be honest. I don't want to do the same thing my whole life. Especially early in my life. I want to have as many experiences as possible in different things. Even though I do know I love stars. Like stars is where I want to be. Anywhere, the beginning, middle, end, stars. Recently from looking at which professors to email and like their topics that they research into, found interest in like the magnetic fields of stars. I was always interested in that because like the fact that like solar flares happen because of magnetic waves in our sun and then produce aurora if those flares hit our earth, like that was always so cool to me.
Magnet's a
um
magnet.
yeah, it's like whoa. So that's interesting to me. That's a good thing about like applying to grad school is that you'll find new ideas that you never thought of. And cold emailing professors, one of the components is you read 1 to 2 of their research papers. I got the advice to ask a question about it instead of just regurgitating what the paper was and what you found interesting, because you could just have ChatGPT do that. So asking a question about it's helping me learn how to read academic papers and understand them enough to have a question, because you have to have a good question. I don't want a naive question that's answered somewhere else in the paper, because that would be a bad luck, maybe. It's like, oh,
If
she
you just
just
read to
like,
the end, you would know.
yeah, exactly. So that's, yeah, good practice to read papers.
So at this moment, do you know more or less all of the, so you've done some applications so far, yes?
No, no.
No. Okay, never mind. All this talk. Have you done any? Nope. Well, you said
So
over the summer that you were at least looking. So do you have like
yeah, I know which ones I'm
ideas?
gonna apply to.
Okay.
I know the countries, don't remember the specific university names.
Well, just for fun, tell me what countries.
Because scared.
I'm scared.
So because a lot of them you need a master's to apply, that really limited my search. And I'm gonna name off like 7 countries when I say limited. New Zealand, Australia, Austria, Netherlands, UK, Canada.
White.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I mean. Is it's limited in the fact that it's like the the big world powers. It's like the white allies with the United States, I feel. So no, like, I mean, I think I can apply to Chile. I heard that their deadline is pretty late. Because they're on like the other side of the world. So I think the application deadline is like July for the winter.
Okay.
So if it's a good one, if you get rejected by everyone,
You got to
you
back
can
up.
apply to that. Yeah. Yeah.
So, for timeline's sake, for people listening, you are theoretical, you probably will. I'm not saying that. Theoretically graduate this upcoming May,
Yes.
and generally grad school applications are due like when?
They're due the fall before you graduate.
So like you
So
have at the time of recording this, it's like October, mid-October, and you got
yeah.
like a month, maybe two.
Yeah, the deadlines I have, they start in the beginning of December. So
Okay.
I am good. Like I'm preparing my materials to send out emails kind of a month before, which I feel like is a great time. A lot of people send them early, and in my mind, they're gonna forget about you if you send them 6 months in advance before the deadline.
Hmm.
They're gonna forget about you. And if you send it too late, then it's like, well, this is a. So I feel like a month and a half or two. I'm
I would
telling
just assume
myself
that they
that
just go
I'm
down.
gaslighting
I
myself.
was gonna say, I'm
I'm
like,
gaslighting
I'm pretty
myself.
sure whoever's doing the applications aren't even looking at it until the deadline, and then they're
Yeah,
just gonna go through the giant ass stack anyway.
yeah.
So you want to randomly segue to what?
Oh, to having a life outside of studying for classes and whatnot.
Oh, you have one?
Uh, huh?
You have one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I've been making it a point to enjoy my last year here, because I was realizing there's so much Tucson stuff that I haven't done since I've been here. I'm a College of Science ambassador. That's something I've already talked about. And even though that's school related, that gets me out of the house. I do outreach for prospective students, so students who are interested in coming to the U of A. I'm actually learning a lot about the College of Science as a whole. And like I've started doing more outreach with the astronomy club. So I've signed up for 2 things that are in the near future, one for like an elementary school, one for high school,
Hmm.
where we'll probably show them how to use the telescopes and point at cool stars and talk about, you know, life as an astronomer and how fun it is.
Just like things, general things, whatever.
Mm. The ambassador position has helped me find my voice in talking to these students who are interested, and like I said before, like find my passion again a little bit, make me excited for what I'm doing, become hopefully more eloquent in explaining my research or why I like being here. I didn't really think about why it's great to be here. I knew it was great to be here. I didn't think for myself why it
It's just what people
was
were
it
telling you
was
if you just knew.
yeah, why it was such a great opportunity. And with Astronomy Club, like I said, I'm going on more trips. I went to the 61-inch telescope up on top of Mount Lemon a few weeks ago. Saw some really cool planetary nebula and what Don McCarthy called the green blob. And that's helping me find more of a community as well. Oh, totally forgot. I started a peer mentor program. Oh my God. I can't believe I forgot about that.
What
It
is
just,
that? What does that even mean?
so it's juniors and seniors helping mentor our first year students navigate university as a whole. Like this is their first time being here, being at a university in general. Hopefully pointing them to resources because I think that one of the prerogatives of the university is to not advertise their resources because then that costs money and they don't just to get free money from you for tuition. So pointing them towards all those resources, how they can get emergency funds like I used last year to help me pay for tuition that I had to cry to 3 different people to figure out where that is. So you know you don't have to go through kind of an emotionally kind of dramatic experience of crying to strangers. And just a bunch of resources. There's kind of been a weird attack on our resources. The cultural resource centers are going through a change because of the university administration. It's an interesting time. So trying to point people towards those new resources because they're being having to be renamed for whatever reason, and
Hmm.
that'll create more confusion on this used to be the LGBT plus community center, and now it's called I don't even know what it's called anymore. What else
Weird.
can I say about that? There was some fun red tape that I had to go through, but it kind of sorted itself out, which is really nice. I didn't have to change anything. It's going to be totally student led by me. And I'm very excited.
Well, good deal. It's nice that you're, putting it back to the community or whatever they like, putting it forward or what's the word of
Giving back.
giving back. Yeah, giving back, not putting back, giving
Yeah.
back to, keep the cycle going and have it be a little bit easier for people coming up.
Yeah. As a transfer student, it's a unique challenge being a transfer student in a university because you effectively, depending on things, but effectively, I had one less year to get my roots grounded and every like ball rolling, whatever. And I missed out on a lot of things that I simply just didn't know about. I didn't know until a few months ago that you can ask your research advisor to help pay for the registration of a workshop.
Hmm.
You know, I didn't know that. And now I'm out $2,000. Not me, my parents. My parents helped me, but I'm in debt to them, so I will be paying them back. I feel terrible. But yeah, it is what it is. It was a great experience. It just would have been nice to know that that could have been partially
Easier.
taken care of.
Yeah,
Less stressful.
indeed. I don't need to worry about doing the two big questions, whatever. Like I don't care about. We already know what kind of restarts you do and what any last things you'd like to say. So you got 2 minutes, I guess. Is there
I
anything
got
left you'd like to
two
update us with?
minutes. 2 whole minutes.
The things I could do.
I think my advice to people applying to grad school or thinking about doing research, which requires going into like the academia side. of this world that we have is start early in the sense of kind of figure out what topics you enjoy and build your CV, your resume of just like do things, get your hands in as many things as possible because I'm starting late because I've had one less year. Like if I was on a normal track, this would be my junior year and I would have all these amazing things of being an ambassador and doing outreach with the club and all of these different things, starting the peer mentor program. I would have had all these things on my CV and possibly more, but now applying now, I don't have as many things showing how great I am. You know, I don't
But Libby,
have
she's
as
great.
many scientific data points of like, this is what I've done and this is why I'm so cool. But it is what it is. I'm here and it wouldn't have been in like I don't want it to be any other way, to be honest. So start early, start thinking about just think about it generally early. I think that's very helpful because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to apply. It's like a second class.
And every little bit you can whittle down helps.
Yeah, a second class that you don't have deadlines for, so it's easy to not do it and do it last minute and have the quality be lesser than what it would have been if you spent more time doing it, which
Well, thanks a
is
lot for giving us the update, Olivia. We're happy to have you on again and maybe another time in the future if things change dramatically.
yeah. Maybe when I get my acceptance letter to